Or 15 of the most broken builds are about to hit Summoner's Rift. So do you want to know what these are? And hey GameLeap, it's the Jizz. Hope you're having a great day, and in today's video I'm going to reveal 15 of the most powerful champion and item combinations for pre-season 12. I want you to tell me in the comments which of these you think is going to be the most busted heading into the new season. Now of course these are subject to change, and no doubt the balance team will tweak these so they have a chance of getting out of gold next season, but to stay up to date with all of those updates, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Now the first build, this won't take long. Immortal Shield Bow with Mortal Reminder for Yasuo and Yone. None of these champions or items are getting nerfed, so this will still be a strong combination come the pre-season. And you might be like, but isn't there a new anti-shield item for AP champions? Well there is, this is called Shadow Flame. But here's the thing guys, with Shield Bow, when the lifeline passive procs, they would already have access to the extra magic penetration. So it's not like the shield actually procs it, so it's almost redundant. But there is another major item we'll get into soon, which is a bit of a cut to these two champions. But all in all, Immortal Shield Bow, Mortal Reminder, Yasuo, Yone, still going to be very good. Now next up we have the new major item called Fimbulwinter, which is pretty much just tier but for tank champions. So when you build your tier into Winter's Approach, which is 2600 gold at max stack, so 360, this is going to transform into Fimbulwinter. And for Nasus, who is a top lane champion who can struggle with his mana, this is going to be unreal for Susan because you're not going to run out of mana, and it's also giving you amazing stats. So 400 HP, 860 mana, 15 ability haste, and you're getting 2 passives. So the all passive, you're gaining HP equal to 8% of your mana. So you could in some games pair this with Frozen Heart for even more mana and HP. And the second passive is called Everlasting. So by immobilizing or slowing an enemy champion, and this only works on melee champions, so Nasus it will work on, you're going to consume some of your current mana to give yourself a shield for 3 seconds. Now this shield is on an 8-second cooldown, and this is going to be really useful because every time you use your Wither, you're going to have the shield, and this is going to activate. So this will be super interesting on Nasus at the start of the preseason, and just the fact that Divine Sunder is so good, the dog is going to be barking. Now the next build is a familiar one to all of us. This is Nash's 2 followed by Riftmaker. So for champions like Teemo and Kayle, maybe Katarina, these items are losing none of their power, nor are the champions. So Nash's 2 giving you attack speed, a really big chunk of AP and the on hit. For Teemo, Kayle, Katarina, these champions love these stats and they get pumped into their kits. And then follow this up with Riftmaker, it makes you very hard to play against and just all out oppressive. So this build, even though we know what it is, it's still going to be good in the preseason. And following this is another build we're all familiar with. So if you get a Mage Mythic, Everfrost, Liandry's Lucian's Tempest, and you pair this with a Seras Embrace later in your build, well at the moment it's really good on champions who love the AP from Seras, right? So if you think of Syndra, if you think of Kassadin, Victor, Orianna, all of these champions can build this, but the new Seras Embrace is giving you ability haste instead of AP, and it's also healing you for each spell you cast. So in that regards, it's almost like the old Rod of Ages. So for Anivia, Ryze, Cassiopeia, these champions who can spam their spells, you're going to be healing so much, and for these champions, sustain has always been their weakness, especially late game when you're side laning. If you lose HP, you're not going to regain it. Well now in 11.23, you're going to be able to. So this is certainly a combination we have to watch out for, and how the new Seras Embrace actually performs. Now we've got another Riftmaker build following this. So this is Riftmaker, but with the new Demonic Embrace. Now remember, Riftmaker is giving you 300 HP, so let's keep that in mind. And the new Demonic Embrace is giving you AP based off your bonus HP. So from items, your level ups, and your runes. So if you're playing a champion like Akali, if you're playing a champion like Mordekaiser, having this much HP is going to get converted into AP, and for melee champions, the burn you deal with the new Demonic Embrace is actually more. This can stack up to 8% of tick damage, and this is going to be huge for these champions, and honestly, Mordekaiser just might be back on the menu. And Akali might sound like a bit of a weird one, but here's the thing guys, you don't really need that much damage as Akali to kill the champions you're actually jumping on. And because this build is designed for top lane, where you're going to be going against champions with resistances and HP, Riftmaker and Demonic Embrace are just straight out better than something a bit more glass cannon. So I'm super excited to see how these champions play with this setup, and I'm also super excited, in fact this could be the strongest build for 11.23. This is the new Frostfire Gauntlet paired with that Demonic Embrace, and then the new Abyssal Mask. So for champions like Zac and Malphite who love to get their head in a team fight and knock up so many enemy champions, the new Frostfire means that their attacks are dealing AoE magic damage, and this AoE magic damage is actually going to proc Demonic Embrace's tick damage, which is honestly pretty nuts. And when you pair this with the new Abyssal Mask, which is now lowering those nearby enemies' magic resist, this means that even if you're building tank Zac or tank Malphite, because you're getting the AP from Demonic, you will be one-shotting people, and this will be especially good if you do actually have another AP damage dealer on your team. But maybe one setup guys that's going to be super busted next patch is Duskblade or Prowler's Core, so a lethality based mythic into Axiom Arc. Now this new item is costing 3000 gold, so it's giving you attack damage, lethality, 25 ability haste, and the passive, this is refunding 25% of your ultimate's cooldown. So if you think about these champions like Zed, Kiana, Talon, Shaco, Kha'Zix, who have a really good level 6 spike, getting your ultimate's cooldown lowered when you damage an enemy champion, you don't even have to kill them, by 25%. Like, are you serious? I don't know what the balanced team was smoking, but I want some. And I know there's been theory crafting around Karthus getting this, and maybe other champions like Pyke. Pyke can definitely get it, but to be honest, on these real mid lane jungle assassins, I think this could be huge. And I'd love to know what you guys think of the new Axiom arc, and don't forget that Dustblade and Prowler's Claw have been buffed. So Dustblade's auto attack, you're dealing more damage, and the Sand Swipe active and Prowler's Claw, this is also going to deal more damage. So it's going to be a great patch for assassins. But we have to remember, guys, that there is one build out there that might make our life a lot more difficult next patch, and we're very close to getting into it. Now, next up, we have a very standard setup with Luden's Tempest as our mythic and Sorcerer's Shoes as our boots, but following this up with the new Shadow Flame or the new Void Staff is going to be amazing for AP high damage dealers or assassins like LeBlanc, Annie, Vex, because you're getting so much magic penetration. So from Shadow Flame, this is really good against enemy team compositions who have innate shields. So I'm not talking about Shield Bow or Steris Gauge or Gargoyle Stoneplate, I'm talking about champions like Yone, who have a shield in their W. I'm talking about champions like Riven, like Janna. This item would be insane against them. If not, you can just take the new Void Staff, even though it's costing 100 more gold, you're getting 45% magic penetration, and with Luden's Tempest mythic passive, you will be one-shotting pretty much everyone. But maybe one champion you're not going to one-shot just because he's so hard to kill. This is Malzahar. But for 1123, guys, here's the thing. Liandry's Anguish, Ryla's Crystal Scepter, this is all the same, but with the new Demonic Embrace. I know this item has come up so much, but that's because, guys, of the passive, which is converting that HP into AP. And because you're getting HP from Ryla's and Demonic itself, this is going to be a serious 3-item power spike for Malz. Now, the tick damage might be the same in Demonic Embrace, that's true, but you're going to deal even more damage because of that new passive. And because Malzahar is such a good mid laner anyway at the moment, I mean, he was even picked at Worlds, that just goes to show you how good Purple Aladdin is, so another one to watch out for 1123. Now, this next build, guys, is the build that is the ultimate anti-assassin build. So it starts with Crown of the Shattered Queen, which is the new mage mythic in the mid lane, and it's pretty much just like Everfrost, but the passive is different. So what you're getting is a Malzahar type passive called Divine Safeguard. So the Safeguard passive is on a 40-second cooldown, and you know when you have this because you will have a little circle around you, almost like a Malzahar passive, which is going to reduce incoming champion damage by 75%. So this is really good against enemy champions who might jump onto you with a lot of burst damage. So Kha'Zix, Shaco, Kiana, Zed. And also while you're safeguarded, you get access to Holy Gift, another passive, and for 3 seconds after it is broken, so your shield, you gain ability power. And also the mythic passive is pretty nice because it's giving you movement speed. The ability power is nice as well, but movement speed on champions like Lux, like Vex, these are mobile mid laners. This is going to be so important for kiting these assassins, especially in the late game, and it should definitely not go unnoticed. And what you can do as well, guys, with this new mythic is pair this with the new Horizon Focus. And even though you're getting less AP from Horizon, you're getting health and ability haste, which is super nice. And what's also happening is that the passive is proccing when you slow the enemy champion, so you don't have to immobilize them. You can just slow them and you will get access to this extra damage, which is going to be nuts for champions like Lux, like Vex, so this could certainly be one of the strongest builds of 1123. Now, another really strong build that is revolving around a new mythic hitting the Rift next patch, this is for tank and engage supports. So if you think of Rel and Nautilus, Leona, building the new Evan Shroud, which is giving you the exact same stats as Locket, but the passive is actually the old Abyssal Mask passive. So after immobilizing champions or being immobilized yourself, that target and all nearby enemy champions, they're going to take more damage for the next 5 seconds. So if you think about this with a Nautilus hook or his ultimate, a Leona stun in her Q, E, and ultimate, maybe when Braum uses his Glacial Fissure, or even after a 5-man Bard ultimate, all of those targets are going to take increased damage, and this is just 2500 gold this mythic. And what you can do after this is get a Knight's Vow, which has been buffed, so the healing is back, thank goodness. So tank supports, just because of this Evan Shroud mythic, are certainly in a stronger position. Now following this, we have a very interesting setup here, guys, and this starts with Eclipse is your mythic, and this is 100 gold cheaper, but the cooldown is also 2 seconds lower for melee champions. So if you're playing Jace in your hammer form, this is going to be really useful. And then following this, we want to build Mirror Mana and then a Serylda's Grudge. But there's also another champion this build is working extremely well on, and this is Xayah. And because of all those Q buffs Ryder given Xayah, this is the build you go. So no more Gale Force, no more Essence Reaver, it's pretty much lethality with on hit from Mirror Mana. And another champion who might make use of this next patch is Senna. Because Eclipse, all you need is 2 auto attacks to proc that passive, so for Senna all you have to do is auto Q, and you can't lose. So this build is already strong, guys, but because Eclipse is costing 100 less gold next patch, this is just going to accelerate that scaling process and make these champions better. Now another mage item combination is coming in next. So this is Everfrost or Liandry's Anguish, and then paired with Cosmic Drive. So for champions like Silas, Anivia, Gragas, Cassiopeia. Because Everfrost is 400 gold cheaper if you do build it, this means you're going to hit that power spike earlier, which is really good. And then we have to consider the new Cosmic Drive. So for sure, you might be losing a bit of ability haste, but you're still getting 30 right off the bat, and the Spell Dance passive is changing, so damaging a champion with 3 separate attacks or spells grants 20% movement speed, which does decay, and 40 ability power until you actually stop fighting. So for these mages who do like extended fights and they can get off multiple spells, this pairing of items is certainly going to be very scary. But perhaps the scariest build of next patch, guys, is going to be the scariest build of this current patch, and this is simply the Divine Sunderer Rush. This item is not getting nerfed, so for champions like Camille, who is absurdly broken, for Jax, for Nasus, all of the Spellblade abusers in the top lane and maybe jungle, there is no reason to stop building this, and this will still be at the top of the pile. So if you want guaranteed wins in LP in the preseason, Divine Sunderer is certainly your best bet, and because there's so much HP now and AP items, Divine Sunderer with that Spellblade passive, this is going to be even more nuts. But the build I'm most excited about, guys, this is going to sound so weird, but just hear me out. We're going to start with Titanic Hydra, and then we're going to build Demonic Embrace. So for champions like Tahm Kench, Volibear, and Senna, who have AP scalings in their kit, as well as AD scalings, with Titanic Hydra, you're getting bonus HP, but this bonus HP is converting into AD, which is good for these champions. But then you're getting Demonic Embrace, which is going to capitalize on all of that HP and turn some of that into AP. But because these champions have on-hit in their kit, it's going to be super easy to proc that Demonic Embrace burn. And what you could even do as well, guys, is actually build a Frostfire Gauntlet on any of these, which is going to give you 100 HP for each legendary item you have. So in that case, you would have an extra 200 HP, which would get converted into AD from Titanic and AP from Demonic Embrace. But I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the most oppressive setups in the game in 11.23, so make sure you use this while you still can. So those are the 15 best builds and champion combinations, guys, for 11.23. And for sure, there's probably some build out there that we don't know of yet, but remember, we will update you on everything that changes on the Summoner's Rift landscape, so hit that subscribe button. And if you did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like down below, and also make sure to check out the GameLeap website on your way out for exclusive access to all of that content that I challenge your players and coaches to upload on a daily basis. There are links in the description and comment section, and until tomorrow's daily upload, this has been the Cheers.